The Russian military command has been tasked with closing the Bakhmut issue before Orthodox Easter, that is before April 16th. Another time limit, which the Wagners cannot meet, so it was decided to send Russian paratrooper forces to Bakhmut. Now the units of the Russian armed forces, which were stationed a week ago much north, closer to Kreminna, begin to dominate in the city, but they were partially pulled here. Of course, Prigozhin is not happy about this arrangement, but he will traditionally broadcast, through his sources, that it is the Wagners who decide everything in Bakhmut. Although in truth, they have been practically solving nothing since late December 2022, when Prigozhin failed to fulfill his task of giving Putin Bakhmut for the new year. The latter, in turn, failed to present this victory to his electorate as any kind of achievement at all. Bakhmut continues to hold its ground for more than 254 days. Fierce fighting for Tchaikovsky Street is due to the fact that this is actually the city's continuation of the artery T0504. The enemy forces do not spare to throw everything they have here. And especially they don't spare to send the first rows of those Wagner mercenaries, behind which the paratroopers are already advancing. But not everything is smooth here either. The first ranks bump into AFU positions and are drawn into urban fighting, while the second line finds itself under artillery and mortar fire. An important point. The defense of Bakhmut is built in such a way that now the enemy forces have no physical opportunity to realize the capture of the city in an operational or tactical encirclement. Even having fire control over arteries T0506 and T0504, they have no physical control over them. Despite the very difficult situation, the defensive actions of the city continue under the control of the AFU, and this is the main thing. It is the AFU that is imposing the tempo on the enemy, for whom the main thing is not to screw up another deadline. Before I continue, I ask you to subscribe to my channel, it will help to promote it. In the Avdiivka area, Pushilin's gangs are doing even worse than Prigozhin's Wagners. The previous dash of the strategic genius 7 kilometers along the route 0511 ended with serious losses for his army. At the beginning of April, Pushilin requested armored vehicles from the Russian command to compensate for his losses. They refused him, but promised to send him a little bit of the same paratroopers. That is, they intend to use paratroopers to plug all the gaps that are systematically emerging on the front line in those locations where they confidently held their ground just 6 months ago. Therefore, until the issue of Bakhmut is closed, the Avdiivka direction will not receive priority in combat operations. And if the Bakhmut issue is not closed for Russian troops in principle. The most interesting thing is that Avdiivka demonstrates that the enemy has a problem with human resources in almost all directions and bridgeheads. Human resources are exhausted and now they have to spread them thinly along the entire line of battle. A trend that does not bode well for Russian troops.